the Integrity Station. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, isn't it? Such lushness. You know, the sun is up. It's not so hot yet. It's looking like a good day. And I hope that you go ahead and have one yourself. My name is Charity Jerome. It's Beyond the Surface for this morning. Why do I keep saying Monday? For this Thursday morning. And we're just about to get started. If you're just joining us, you're right on time. Let me apologize ahead of time because our time is going to be short, except a miracle happens. But we have just less than 30 minutes to do what we have to do this morning. Again, except a miracle happens. But we're talking flooding, yeah? We're talking the floods in Nigeria that have gone on for months and have caused devastating damages across states. Now, in case you didn't know, these floods are happening across 33 states of Nigeria. So what? We have 36 states in Nigeria. 33 out of this 36 states are experiencing some degree of flooding or the other. Of course, we know that some of the worst hit states are Anambra, Kogi, Benue. What are some of the states? Like, they are indeed many. As I said, 33. Kogi, of course, we can arguably say is the worst hit. Kogi, Bayelsa Delta, Edo, there's Benue, there's Anambra, there's some parts of River State as well. This is really, really bad. And news reports across different platforms say the federal government at this moment is claiming over 600 people. I think the figure is 603 people confirmed dead as a result of these floodings, and 1.3 plus people displaced. Some figures are quoting 2 million plus people displaced. I'm going to run you through some of the recent happenings as far as this flooding is concerned and how certain politicians have reacted to this. First of all, the Minister of Water Resources, Mr. Suleiman Adamu, says that as speculated in a lot of different media platforms, the Cameroon Lagdo Dam is not responsible for the flooding that we're seeing, which has devastated many states across the country. The minister says that the flooding we're experiencing is mostly due to water flowing from tributaries of River Benue, and this is what has caused the flooding. The water from River Benue, and then the unprecedented rainfall that we've seen this year. He says it is not the water coming from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. That's not enough to give us the scale of flooding that we're seeing and across the different states that we're seeing it. He also talked about the dams, how Nigeria is still in the process of building the dams that should contain and stop, states from flooding whenever there is maybe water from Cameroon coming in, or maybe excessive water coming in from River Benue, or even unprecedented rainfall like we're having now. Bottom line is Nigeria just doesn't have the infrastructure to make that stop. We are seeing these types of flooding because we have not prepared ourselves as far as infrastructure is concerned. And by infrastructure, I mean things like dams that can hold in water on our own parts, and good drainages that can actually pass water out into the various bigger water bodies that water should be flowing into. But there's also reports that this flooding has affected no fewer than 4,885 different households in one state only. And this state is Ogun State. 4,885. I mean, imagine that figure. 4,885 households have been affected by these recent flooding in Ogun State only. This was made known by the NEMA Director of Special Duties when he went there on an assessment of the destruction. But not only that, we're hearing of corpses being washed up as a result of these floodings. a month ago in September, it was reported that 200 corpses had been swept away by flooding in Niger State. And just 2 days ago, there are huge reports about up to what now? What's the figure? Let's see. Flooding washing up several corpses from the Azikoro government cemetery in Yenogua, and this has raised health concerns from the offensive odor in the neighborhoods as well. There's nothing surprising about this, really. This is maybe the scale of it can be said to be surprising, but the fact that we're having floods and in different states that we're having them now, it's no surprise at all. We've had something like this in 2017, and I think we're back in 2012 as well. And oftentimes, whether it's unprecedented rainfall or water from River Benue, we know that during the rainy season, some states would flood. It's almost an annual thing. One thing that has never changed, though, is the surprise that we show when these things happen, like it just came out of nowhere, like we didn't see it coming. But we did. I mean, NIMET announced these floods way before they started happening, and warned local governments, the federal governments, and state governments that people who live along certain areas would be affected if nothing is done. Now, in turn, some state governments gave evacuation orders, told people, hey, this place is going to flood, get up and go. What they didn't do until places started getting flooded is provide an alternative for people to go to. So we didn't see camps or IDP centers being set up for potential flooding victims until villages and communities were totally submerged. Then we started seeing state governors setting up, areas for survivors to go camp, and then bringing food items and mattresses and things. It's almost like crying after the head had been cut off, if you get my analogy. But the picture I'm trying for you to understand is this is bad. And it is bad across many different states in Nigeria at this moment. State governments are scrambling for solutions to how they can curtail this. The federal government is doing what it can through NEMA, but these efforts are nothing compared to the suffering, the losses, and the damages that have been suffered by victims in these areas. And it's a huge concern. It's a very huge concern. Perhaps that is why Peter Obi recently announced that he would be suspending his campaign so that he can visit some affected flood areas and help the people in the ways that he can. Not only did he suspend his campaign, he also went on to encourage other frontliners to do the same. Candidates of the PDP, candidates of the APC, candidates of the NNPP, and other political parties. He says that they too should suspend their campaigns and show Nigerians that that they matter, and that these politicians are thinking about them in a time such as this, when they're going through a tough time. But as you can imagine, reactions have followed that statement and that action by Peter Obi. First of all, yesterday I was listening and watching the People's Democratic Party National Publicity Secretary on television, and he was asked to react to this. He kind of thinks that a presidential candidate or someone who wants to be able to rule Nigeria should be able to know how to multitask. He says you do not necessarily have to suspend your campaign to be able to help people who are victims of flooding. He says if you want to be president, you should be able to do different things at the same time. So the PDP will not necessarily suspend its own campaigns, but would help in the ways that they've always been known to do while also running their campaigns. Some of the people feel that this is a political move. He's just trying to capitalize on the suffering of Nigerians to score cheap political points. And that's what I want us to focus on this morning. Do you think that an action like suspending one's presidential campaign bears impact on a situation like the flooding as we're having? And where do you stand? Do you agree that this is a political move, or do you think that Peter Obi is genuinely concerned for the plight of Nigerians who are going through this suffering as brought on by the floods? On what side of the divide are you? And do you think that this is just scoring political points? Let me again emphasize that because of these floodings, we're seeing food price rise in certain areas. We're seeing the cost of transportation rising in certain areas because people can't go from one place as easily as they used to. So now they have to depend on people who have canoes or boats, and these people are charging very, very high prices. I was watching a report on television yesterday, somewhere I think in on the East-West Road between Delta, Bielsa, and Rivers. People were charging as high as 4,000 naira to ferry people from one end of the road to the other. It was a great thing that the Navy stepped up, came to the rescue, brought their boats, and decided to ferry people for free. But you can't imagine the implications of this flood to transportation, to things like the cost of food and other related things. So it's a huge problem, no doubt. Peter Obi's action, how do you situate it? Let's talk about it. I know it's political season. Everybody wants to look good in the eye of the electorate so that it seems like they're the one that have the best interest of Nigerians at heart. Would you consider this an action to score chip points, or do you agree that this came from a place of genuine concerns? Plus, I'd also like to hear what you think that we can do, the government, of course, is what I mean by we, to stop this perennial flooding as we're having it. What is the solution to Nigeria's flooding problems? Let's talk. Again, limited time, but we'll make it work, yeah? 0809-155-1055, 0706-949-3000. You can also join us on Facebook. We're streaming live. It's Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan. You can just leave your messages beneath the live stream on our Facebook platform as well. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Chacha.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Joseph calling from Ologwe.
Thanks for calling, Joseph. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, one is that I am not here.
Not there, yeah.
Not there.
Okay.
If you say it's a political, it's kind of a political point. I want to ask, like you said in Ogun State, about 4,000 houses are affected. Let's even say it's 4,000 families.
Mm-hmm.
And each of them have three per family. That's about 12,000 people at this place. I want to go and campaign there. Where would they come from for that campaign? What is the state of the family or state of their heart that we use to come for that campaign?
Mm.
So he's speaking to his conscience. If he has suspended his campaign, it's just to his conscience.
Mm.
It's normal thing. Anybody can do that. But to say that you're going to multitask, you're going to multitask on what? When a particular sector, section is families are down, about how many things are affected. Mm. So it's something that calls for concern. Mm. That's one. Two, on the flooding issue.
Yes. Please.
It's a natural disaster. It's a natural thing. You may not be able to control or hold water. But it is that we are not prepared. What are the land ministry doing? What are the environment ministry doing? So that's why they are that's what they are being paid. Let research go. What are we going to do? These places these areas are prone for this. Mm. What a proactiveness. That's just the thing. Mm.
All right, Joseph. Thank you.
I wanted to call. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Remember I said we have limited time. So let's try to keep it brief so that we can accommodate as many calls as possible. Yeah. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Chacha.
Hi. Good morning.
Yeah,
Thanks for calling.
Yeah. I have to so much courage to call this morning. I have not called you guys this morning. It's Monday. Yeah, I sympathize with the family of Reverend Koyiladele. And I spent the time that it's finally gone. I was like, maybe I will hear another news that Reverend has wake up. That's why. But unfortunately, was
really.
one of the loyalists when it comes to calling Splash FM. He hardly call another radio station.
Absolutely.
It's not like us that normally call other radio station. And it's a secret as well. May God rest his soul.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Regarding your question this morning, I think Peter Obi have done well. And I can tell that this man is one of the smartest presidential candidates. Whether he want to score a few political points, I don't care. We need a president that is compassionate, someone that can show empathy. Definitely, you can't be in different locations at the same time. This man suspended his campaign. It may be 3 days, 4 days, just to visit those places. It's a good thing. And I also want to hear him what he's going to do about this issue of climate change, how to prevent it. It's not only about being reactive. We should have plans that Nigeria will see that, okay, this how are we going to go about it? We want to hear something like that. In developed countries, they normally complain about climate change, but we have not reached that level of campaigning about how we're going to tackle climate change in Nigeria. All those things, we need to do it. And also our people, they should stop, just disposing their revenue anyhow.
All right.
It's serious one. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you very much, Ahmed Umbo, for your contributions this morning. Perhaps one thing I should have added is that Peter Obi, when he was giving that speech about suspending his campaign, he did mention that if politicians could have spent all those many millions buying their nomination forms, they should be able to spare something for the suffering Nigerian masses. And that kind of struck a chord, you know, I feel like, nice point. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, Jimmy.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Also concur with the family and friends of Please don't you rest in poverty.
Amen.
My own contribution to this. I've been asking this question for a very long time. Why we continue having problems on the issue of insecurity, corruption, bad economy, aside? Why? This is an individual problem for God's sake. Why are we having legislation saying that? Why are we having all this military? What are they doing there? Look, Jimmy, this is second chance for Nigeria. We should vote wisely. It's not about the party. Go and vote for competent people. We need someone that highly intelligent and have a managerial skill to manage this country very well. It's not about the problem of this is not our problem. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mobasharo. I can't do any more calls now, but let me take a few messages from Facebook, and then I have to call it a day. I agree with Peter Obi. Political campaign is an act of gathering people to inform them of a political ambition. How can a sane politician continue to campaign to people whose brothers, wives, and siblings were either drowned in flood or... okay. All right, that's Johnson Akonde. Sorry, I couldn't take the end of that. Raja Hafiz Bidemi says, on the issue of climate change flood in Nigeria, I want to urge the federal government and state governments to please find a lasting solution to it. What would that solution be? I guess that's the question. Again, let me apologize. If you're on our phone lines, I can't take any more calls. My time is done. It's unfortunate, I know, but I have to go. Thank you. Have a good day. My name is Charity Jerome.
Splash FM 105.5.